And we're live on probably the busiest cricketing day for the next 45 days. Busiest, I say so, because there are two World Cup games, and not to forget, India would be playing Afghanistan later to win the gold medal in the Asian Games. And we have everything lined up for all those games. But to begin with, we are going to preview the two World Cup games right now. And I have, as always, Nikhil Popot with me. Nikhil, good morning. How are you? All geared up for a busy day. आपके लिए तो रोज का है ये.
Yeah, with still probably an earlier start than usual because I'm the kind of guy who likes to have it extend towards the later half. So I'm from England in that. The only thing that I agree with England is at the half an hour at the later half of the day, not at the start of the day.
No, actually, I would have preferred that as well myself. Not
Yeah.
really used to waking up so early in the morning, and no, at least starting my day. Even if I
Yeah.
wake up, it's usually like, yeah,
Yes.
why chill kar rahe. ठीक है. I
Mm.
mean, not a lot of time, but a lot to discuss. Given that we
Yeah.
have only this 30-35 minutes bracket to discuss the two games. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, which of the two games are you looking forward to the most, or is it equal? Nothing to choose there.
Yeah, I think it's hard to choose because again, Dharamshala it gives in to both sides bowling attack coming good as opposed to the batting out batting each other. And again, Delhi, South Africa, Sri Lanka, one team that I'm hoping that will make it to the knockouts. So it's a very crucial game for them. There is no Tikshina there, so that is something that I think will really help South Africa and hopefully I don't know why it feels like a day of few centuries. Let's see.
All right. So this game, Nikhil, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. Are you gonna wait for the toss and then decide the team that you're gonna side with, or do you already have your favorites going in?
Yeah, I think see on paper, Bangladesh look better balanced. Again, in terms of people who have been contributing, as opposed to Afghanistan, who I feel are relying very heavily on the top two. So
Hmm.
if Rahmat Shah and Hasbullah Shahidi are able to put in good performances, no matter the strike rate for those situations, I think this is a venue I'm very keen to see how it plays out. It's a new square, new pitch. So if there is movement, I'm expecting Rahmat and Hazmatullah to be really those guys who take the innings deep and then allow the likes at the other end to be able to score freely. So I think on paper, Bangladesh probably because they have more people firing at their bowling attack. Shoriful, Taskin, Mustafizur to add to Shakib. I think that is as good as it can get. And you have batting backup with Shanto scoring runs. Yes, Shakib is yet to score those big ones, but I think Das, Rahim, and if everybody is able to contribute a bit, you can't forget Mehdi Hasan there. So I think in on paper, Bangladesh slightly ahead.
Hmm. And also, I mean, yeah, like you said, I think as I see Bangladesh and Afghanistan, I feel it's a team of slightly polar opposites when it comes
Yeah,
to batting. Because
yeah,
I think Bangladesh, the top order, I mean, the top order has really been struggling for a while now. I mean, Litton
yeah,
has a good time out in the middle for a while, and they
yeah,
more rely on the middle order to sort of step up. With Afghanistan, it is
yeah,
the complete opposite story, where their openers have done reasonably well. It's the middle
yeah,
order that has not contributed. So,
yep.
I mean, should be fascinating to see what happens there. We have Gurkirat as well, who will definitely join us in a few moments. His screen is a little hazy right
Mhm.
now because, as always, Faji is busy with a lot of things in life and
Bade
he's not
log.
traveling around. We will add him at some point of time. Uh,
Yeah,
Nikhil, talking about, I mean, I think we should just stick to the first game right now and then
yeah,
move completely to the second. Uh, of course, we have the segment called X Factor of the day. We'll be while we still wait for the toss and see which players
mhm,
are going to play in the 11. But I think we have a fair idea about the few players.
yeah,
Uh, One question that I wanted to ask you is about Bangladesh spin bowling unit. Now,
yeah,
I mean, on paper, it has been one of the most economical bowling units for a while now, especially in the last World Cup. But they happen to play all their games in spin friendly conditions. And even then, when it comes to the wicket taking ability, it's not it's not a very wicket taking spin attack. Although Mehdi Hasan has taken the most wickets for a spinner since the last World Cup, if I if I'm correct. But I mean, of course, he's played a truckload of games more than other spinners. But do you think if Bangladesh have to sort of be a team or or eyeing anywhere near the mid-table finish, the spin bowling attack has to not just be economical but has to take wickets as well, right? Because uh, against some really big teams, you can't just control the runs; you'll have to take wickets as well.
Yeah, fair point. But I think they're already moving in that direction with the pace attack that they have, and I think that is what you see. Probably the role that's given to them, that you keep things tight at your end, so that we have a pacer attacking at the other end. And as you said, in any which ways, out of the venues that they're playing, there will be some venues where their spin attack will come into the picture no matter what happens. So I think that is something that they'll hope. Okay, as long as they're able to find that mixture well, okay, on wickets like Dharamshala, they are able to have their pacers to do the job. But that, even if they're able to exert that control or keep it tight, it will help them everywhere. And when there are wickets which will add value to them in terms of some spin, some grip, they are any which ways too experienced to not get wickets there. So I think in
Hmm.
terms of wickets, maybe I would want a few more. But at this point of time, because the pace attack is doing the job, I think it's kind of okay. It's okay. I'll probably not be too worried about those in that aspect.
Okay. Yeah. Since the toss is going on right now, it's a good time to add Gurkira to the stream as well. Oh, Paji, I see you. You are in some airport. कहाँ जा रहे हो भाई?
वापस दिल्ली.
वापस Delhi, back home, homecoming for Gurkirat. How long do you plan to stay in Delhi now?
अब तो hopefully till the end of the World Cup. Hopefully no more travel for work. But you never know.
You never know. So now, I mean, after that, we might have Gurkirat in a proper setup with good audio, good visual quality. Hopefully, but nevertheless, we can still hear you all right. Like I asked Nikhil, which of the two games are you looking forward to more today? I won't ask which of the three, because one game is for sure. Everyone is looking forward to the gold medal. But apart from that, the two World Cup games.
I'm looking forward to the second game. Actually, I feel with Tikshana out, South Africa have a greater advantage. But still, it's a surface where Sri Lanka should come into the picture and should have their opportunities. So looking forward to that game, because I don't think that it's that time that you expect a lot of dew in Delhi. So if Sri Lanka bat first, post a reasonable total, they could still have South Africa in some sort of bother.
Hmm. And Nikhil, Bangladesh have elected to field first. Do you agree with that decision? Early morning, uh, at a place where there will be some cold, probably they've just
Couldn't
gone
ask
on
for
to,
more.
yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better conditions, and also the attack that they have to be able to exploit those conditions. And again, with Afghanistan also, because you know that they're dependent on the top two, it makes all the more reason to just get them in, uh, so that if you get them early, you're always keeping them to an underpass score to chase. So I think in terms of that, it's probably as good as it could get for Bangladesh.
Hmm. Okay. While we are still waiting for the playing 11s of this game,
Yeah.
guys, I'll just shift my focus to the second game a bit before we come back to this game. Maybe we'll spend the last 15 minutes of a preview to talk about the game that is first. Uh, Now, when I was just having this discussion with Gurkirat and Avnish, that I made a list of favorites going into every game, and this Sri Lanka versus South Africa game is where I sort of entered it as a banana peel for South Africa, and I'm
Mm.
fancying Sri Lanka to win that game. It's one of the five watchable games of the World Cup for me. Uh, at that time, I did not really think about Thixana not being available, because I'm
Ah,
not sure if that was confirmed then,
yeah.
but it's confirmed now. But I'll still stick to my decision. But Nikhil, I mean, do you feel this is a game where a team like South Africa cannot afford to lose if they're eyeing that semi-final spot, or is it too early to say such things?
Yeah, I think basis the first two games, I think deciding anything on one game will be very, very like jumping the gun very, very early, because Netherlands also had Pakistan in trouble for enough amount of time. Something that I said in the past as well in our videos, that this World Cup, conditions are going to dictate everything. So if the weaker side is able to do their stronger suit in stronger conditions, they will still trouble the side that is better on paper. So in that sense, I think South Africa do have the bowling attack, and also if you see their numbers also against Sri Lanka, Lungi Ngiri has had a good time versus them. I'm expecting Maharaj to come into the game. Samshi has his most wickets, I think, against Sri Lanka. So, uh, however it may be, the matchups also seem to be working in South Africa's favor. There is no South Africa bias at this point of time from my end. I'm just hoping that they are able to get that team performance. As we talk, as you can also see, this is just an example of where Thikshana is and how much they will miss him. So I'm hoping you can get will get another guy from South Africa into that list in Maharaj, because I think he's someone who's very underrated, and he can bowl to left-handers as well. He's very smart, very canny. So I'm hoping he's the guy who, along with Aiden Markram, is able to carry the spin bowling attack through, because then that will allow Samshi to not worry about the runs but just go for wickets. And then with the
Hmm.
ball, I think we've discussed at length about Rabada. So the batting, if this batting lineup falters for South Africa, there is no hope. So it's the bowling that has to just come through.
Hmm. I mean, Gurkiat, with South Africa's bowling, on numbers, they have probably the weakest space attack. I mean, maybe we can discount Netherlands for a moment. Uh, they are pretty expensive in the power play. They are pretty expensive in the middle overs. We know that Shamsi can tend to be a little expensive as well. So does that mean that Keshav Maharaj then becomes their X factor, so to speak, in the bowling department, a player that they would really need to perform in order to, sort of be there in contention for the top four? Maybe you can unmute yourself and speak. Yeah.
Yeah, without thanks for that prompt. Given what all has happened in recent times. But yeah, you'd have to say that given the conditions, the pitches, and how most batting lineups are right-handed dominated. Nikhil mentioned that he's done decently against left-handers as well, which and he also spoke about how he can also control runs. So Maharaj not doing well will again put a lot of pressure on others, and it could really mean that no one's going to come together, and there could really be no bowling in terms of partnerships, because with Nokia missing, they are also not sure who could be that third baser, because Nikhil, if I'm not wrong, in his first 11 had Gerard Coetzee instead of Ngidi. So if they also go in with Coetzee instead of Ngidi, so there's also inexperience in that bowling lineup. So yeah, Maharaj not doing well uh, will actually not bode well for South Africa. In fact, given how that bowling lineup is, they'll also need Markram to chip in with those 4 5 overs and bowl them economically and not really leak too many runs over there.
Yeah, Jaideep Gajera is pretty active in comment early in the morning. Jaideep, good morning. SA need a good start. They've panicked in recent years. Cannot disagree with that at all. But hoping Temba, hope they will start good. Regarding hope, I mean, absolutely fantastic ad put out by New Balance. Pretty wonderful to watch that. Nikhil, where do you feel the second game would be decided? Is it about South Africa's middle order versus Sri Lankan spinners, or do you think there is any other sort of narrative there which will actually be the decider for that game?
South Africa's bowling numbers in power play are probably one of the worst that there can be in the recent times. And Sri Lanka have too many Kusal players up top to make the most of it. So sorry, early morning had to get that one out before we get into other things. So if Jansen is not among those wickets, if he's playing and bowling with a new ball, if Rabada isn't able to strike, then there will be a lot of pressure on the rest of the bowling attack to be able to pull through. So I think
Hmm.
that will be one of the key phases, because it is something many teams will target South Africa with. But it's Delhi. I know Paji is expecting no due. I'm keen to see if there is hold in the wicket, then I'm expecting Lungi to play. If there isn't, then I want Koji to play, so that they're able to use that fast-paced nature of the deck. So again, fast-paced nature of the deck, fast-paced nature of the bowler. So hopefully they're able to get the conditions right, and then let's see. But the middle order batter will always be there. But I just feel power play will set the tone for South Africa with the ball.
Gurkiat, do you agree or do you see it any other way?
No, I mean you'd have to be very careful about, like how Nikhil mentioned about both the Kushals, because Kushal Pereira is very good against pace, and he had and I don't think anyone other than South Africa would really put anything beyond him in terms of what, if you look back at that innings, it was a few years ago, but that doesn't take away the fact that he's still very skillful in taking down pace bowling. With Kusal Mendes, he's scored a very good 100 in those warm-ups, is absolutely smashing it. So both those players will have will actually be on South Africa's radars in terms of how to get them out early. It's something again with Sri Lanka. We spoke about it in the preview that their 4-5-6 is decent. In fact, 3-4-5 as well. They would just need that the openers are able to give a decent start, so that that middle order can come in and then play freely and not really be batting under pressure. This World Cup, I'm hoping that Patum Nisanka can convert those starts, because he's also very talented, has a lot of potential. So wickets in the power play are going to be the key, but without that, again, like we said, there would be a lot of pressure on Maharaj to deliver, and Sri Lanka's not a team which you would expect who'd really struggle against spin straight away. I mean, if
Yeah.
anything, they could take runs of the spinners also. So
Mm.
pacers will have to turn up in this game. One thing that I think that South Africa can look to exploit is that if it's still going to be a relatively fresh pitch, if there is any bounce, they have the bowlers to extract that extra bounce and make things tougher for Sri Lanka in terms of dealing with that bounce, whether it's Jansen or Rabada. But with those short boundaries, those bouncers will have to be directed well, because 50-55 meter boundaries could really, batters could top edge and still get 6 runs. So there is
Mm.
one thing that South Africa have, that they could use that extra bounce, whatever there it might be on the pitch, and use it to trouble Sri Lanka.
Yeah. And after what we saw in the Asia Cup final, South Africa would have wanted, or would still want, a pacer to sort of blow Sri Lanka apart, because, like Gurkirat said, they will be a lot more adept to nudge and nurgle the spinners around. Before we end the chat on the second game, guys, Nikhil, can you just give us your predicted 11 for both teams, and maybe Gurkirat can chip in if he disagrees on a particular spot. Else, we'll move on to the game that is for which the first ball is going to be bowled in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think the 11 in that sense should be straightforward for both. That you expect Kusal Nisanka to be up top with the middle order that is as good as Kusal, Asalanka, DDS. DDS, I hope they are able to use it better, because I think there is scope there. Then you have Darren Sam equivalent, is what Shub said about Shanaka in that side. So I'm hoping Sam is able to turn some magic there. And then you have Velalage, and now with no Thikshana, I'm keen to see if Hemanta plays there, the leggy, or they opt for two paces in Lahiru and Rajita. So again, Delhi is a venue where you have to get the conditions right. Lahiru could use the pace, while Rajita could also hit the deck and get you something out of it, maybe. So that is the order there in terms of enough batters, three all rounders, and then you have two pacers to back the job for the spinners.
Mm. And South Africa?
South Africa, I
South
think, is
Africa
very
is
straight.
pretty straightforward, right? They will
हाँ
be
मतलब
playing
ऑप्शन
both
ही नहीं है वहाँ
spinners.
तो
Uh,
exactly. So the only debate is Kodzi for Ngidi, and given the matchup that is there in Ngidi's favor, I feel Ngidi could come in, but won't be surprised if they play Gerald again, purely on what they feel the conditions will be like.
Gurga, even give me a thumbs up if you agree with those 11, so that we can move forward to the first game. Yeah, so that's about the second game. All of us are looking forward to that game a lot more. Talking about this game, guys, and Bangladesh's 11 is out. They've gone with a batting heavy 11, if I can say so, with Mahmudullah in the side. Is anyway always sort of slotted to be in there. Now they have three pacers in Taskin Ahmed, Shariful Islam, and Mustafizur Rahman, plus Mehdi Hassan Miraj as the spinner, along with Shakib Al Hasan. So, Gurkirat, first thoughts on Bangladesh's 11? Expected, or did you expect them to play anyone else except maybe a proper pacer in place of Fizz, especially given the conditions, or not too much to read there?
I felt that there was a possibility that instead of Mehdi Hassan, who they've dropped, they could have brought in another pacer, given the conditions. But before the toss, you're not really sure if you're going to win the toss or lose the toss. So I am surprised that they have Tawhid Hridoy at 7 and Mohammedullah at 8. So and they have Mehdi Hassan Miraz at 4. I hope that's not the order that they go in with. My 11 did not have Tanzid Hassan. I had Litan Das opening with Shanto.
Hmm.
Uh, but this is something that I felt they would do. I think the idea to go with Fizz along with Shoriful is that uh, Afghanistan have struggled up top against left arm pace, and Fizz also. Again, if you were bowling in the second half, then you would have probably needed Fizz's experience because by then the early moisture would have dried out, and maybe the pitch would have dried out after being under the sun. So it's probably that 11's been selected keeping that in mind. But yes, now even if Afghanistan do put a score of around 250, Bangladesh have no real reason to not chase it with Mohammedullah at 8. There is
Hmm.
enough batting. Uh, but for starters, you know they should really keep Afghanistan under 250 because the conditions are pretty much going to be in the favor of bowling. And once if you get through those two openers, then you could really pull the plug in terms of run scoring and make Afghanistan take those extra risks, which could bring in those wickets.
Yep, I mean, if you look at the grander scheme of things, Mustafizur Rahman is going to be pretty useful later in the tournament as well when they play on some, wickets with bite in them. Nikhil Gurkirat has spoken about Rahmat Shah, and both of us know what has happened to him since I dissed him. Let's move on to the Afghanistan 11. Straightforward.
Yeah, I think pretty much. Again, the conditions will tell you that I feel this could be the day or the game where Omar Zai really comes through. I'm hoping for that. He's someone who I feel is very good with both bat and ball and really make a difference there. So, otherwise, there isn't anything that you will say that okay, you did not see this coming. So it is as straightforward as it could get from their lens.
Mm. Care to elaborate about Omar Zai, because unknown commodity in a team where there are a lot of famous players actually in Afghanistan team.
Yeah, I think he's someone who I feel can bowl well with the new ball as well. Did really well for Peshawar in PSL. And again, that's a league where you see a lot of Jai Mata the runs being scored, but he still was able to find his own in that whatever little he's done. So I think control is something that I expect from him, and he's played around BPL also enough. So he knows a lot of these players have played alongside them as well. So again, just for that small bits of infos that okay, this is how they had look to play, pace their innings and what and the other small nuggets. And with the bat as well, he's someone who's very solid. Again, he's one of those many all-rounders that many teams have in terms of seam bowling options apart from India. But he's if you want me to rate him, I'll probably, in my opinion, it's probably a 8 on 10 in terms of all-round options. Hopefully, he'll get more games. He missed the Asia Cup because of an injury. So hopefully, again, these are conditions where if they lose early wickets, I won't be surprised if he's the guy who's able to build them some partnerships. So he's the unofficial X factor without calling him the X factor.
Okay, I mean, perfect segue to get into the next segment, which is actually the X Factor.
Yeah.
And we would talk about all four teams again, X Factor of each and every team for the day. So, just a moment. Yep. A brand new segment called X Factor of the Day. Gurkirat, I'll start with you here. Four teams on display today. Who are the four crucial players for their respective teams?
For Afghanistan, I feel Rahmat Shah could be a useful player because the conditions might require someone to bat in a solidifying manner. I mean, we've known him to be someone who's sometimes not short intent, but if for the first 10 to 15 overs he could keep those wickets out, maybe that might just help Afghanistan in terms of posting a score. So
Oh,
So
he's gone off the boil. So maybe
yeah.
Nikhil, we'll take yours now. Gurkeet spoke about Rahmat Shah for Afghanistan. Do you agree, or do you have someone else in mind?
Yeah, I think the dependency on the openers makes it really hard to not feel that Ibrahim or Gurbaz should be able to do well. But the problem there is early morning conditions bounce. So I feel that's where things could get really tricky, not tricky. Uh, I'm hoping we've hoped for a long time that Mohammad Nabi is able to do the job of taking Bangladesh or taking Afghanistan to safer shores. So I think today could be the day where we see Nabi's batting again come through. And again, we saw what he did in that Asia Cup game as well. So with Nabi, I think it's just about having very clear roles. So Omarzai have already said that it. I hope it is Omarzai, but slightly safer pick would be Nabi.
Yeah, and for Bangladesh,
Yeah, Bangladesh, I think difficult to look past Taskin. He's had great numbers against this side, and there is extra bounce on this surface, which again Dharamshala hai. You expect that, so I'm expecting him to possibly end up with a three for. There's also Shariful. Paji touched upon the struggles that Afghanistan have versus left arm pace. So I think both of them will be handy, but I'm banking on Taskin to come good.
all right. I think Gurkirat's internet is back on. I'll just add him here.
Yep.
Yeah, Gurkirat, you spoke about Rahmat Shah and his importance for the game. And, Bangladesh, is it someone among the pacers?
Yeah, I was going to touch upon Shoriful. Shoriful's been very good in the power play, taken a lot of wickets, and with Afghanistan struggling against left arm pace, he could really be that guy. So, and I would have gone for Fazalak Faruqi as the Afghanistan X factor if Afghanistan were bowling first. So, because they're batting first now, I have Rahmat Shah and Shoriful Islam as those X factors for the second game. Uh, South Africa, I feel you would have to go for Aiden Markram, given how he's improved really with the bat versus spin, and his bowling will be handy. Pretty straightforward over there. And for Sri Lanka, feel like going for Kusal Mendes, given the recent form he's had.
Hmm. And Greg K is saying in the comments, I get the feeling Nick watches Afghan one day first class matches a lot. Greg Nikhil watches everything cricket a lot. He borderline watches an unhealthy amount of cricket, but yeah, I mean,
What else? What else we here for?
absolutely. Yeah, and
If
Jaideep is pretty active in the comments. His four picks are Faruqi, Shoriful, Temba, and Asalanka. Asalanka, I agree. Asalanka is someone that I also I'm sort of is my X factor. Shoriful again. I agree. For Afghanistan, I feel this would be a good game for Gurbas to sort of create that difference, because this is a game that Afghanistan would look to win. Although I'm fancying Bangladesh in this one, but if Afghanistan ahead of the tournament, if they're planning something, this is a game that they would have put down as a potential game that they should be able to win. And for South Africa, I feel if Rabada has an off day, it will be too much pressure on their bowling attack to sort of put a proper bowling innings together. But I'm not the expert today, so I'll just keep it succinct. Although I'm still talking a lot. Yes, I think let's move on to the next section, which is the key battles. All right. So this is where your matchups come into picture. Nikhil, what are the key battles, bhai? What does your research suggests, and what does cricket.com suggests as the key battles to look forward to? म्यूट है भाई तू निखिल को म्यूट किसने किया
नहीं, it is something that I think very interesting to see ke Rahmat Shah versus Taskin Ahmed. Just look at those numbers: 56 balls, 24 runs, and 4 wickets. At this venue, if there is anyone who I think should gobble this batting attack, it is again, which is why I said Taskin Ahmed is very very crucial. But I think Rahmat Shah, as Padi said, is very key for Afghanistan to bat deep. So I think that is the one battle that I'm very keen to see how it pans out. Again, I'm not going to be pert out about the strike rate because it's okay. Not everybody has to bat at strike rate as per that need her time. So I'm hoping he's able to hold himself back, Rahmat. Even if he's not getting hitting for runs, just play him out because otherwise he has decent numbers against rest, and he's very key for Bangladesh to have the Najibs, the Nabis, and Rashids to finish well. So I think that
Hmm.
in that case, this is the matchup that I hope works. Although I want Askin to take 3-4, I hope Rahmat is also able to score some runs so that we have a good game.
Yeah, Gurkiat, something similar, something different.
Yeah, so Nikhil's gone for a battle which is between Afghanistan batter and a Bangladeshi bowler. I am going the other way because this has been covered. I feel Faruqi versus Tanzid Hassan and Shanto could be a key because Litton's not scoring runs. So whatever score you put on, you need those early wickets with whatever helps there. So Faruqi with against those two could be a battle to look out for because Shanto's been in decent enough form. He scored runs in the Asia Cup, then got injured, and if Afghanistan are also able to get 2-3 early, so they could really make a game out of it somewhere. So I feel that could be a battle: Faruqi versus Shanto and Tanzid Hassan.
Okay, so we are minutes into the start of this game, guys. I think it's almost time to go for each of your predictions. What is the sort of first inning predictions you're going with for this game, and also for the second game, and of course the winners for the two games?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping it definitely feels that Bangladesh should have a upper hand depending on the conditions that are there now. So probably a score of around, I don't know, 210, 220, and then they'll probably lose a few wickets before they get there. So that is what I feel for Bangladesh, and I just hope South Africa win. I don't care about the margin, but South Africa jito.
Nice, nice. Shub, I probably, I don't, I'm not sure if Shub has woken up yet, but he would be very happy to hear that. Gurkirat.
Yeah, around 180, 190 for Afghanistan batting first, and hopefully a reasonably comfortable chase for Bangladesh. And again, I feel South Africa should win the game. Can't really say about the margin without the toss or anything being there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, South Africa should come on top. They have a lot of quality to get past Sri Lanka.
Okay, I think for the first game, the three of us are aligned in terms of Bangladesh being favorites. Second game, like it was in the first game of the World Cup, where both Nikhil and Gurkeet went for England, but did not, I was not convinced. It's the same story today. Maybe it will be a day where we'll be even, and it'll be a day where Gurkeet and Nikhil actually their team will go on to win. Before we end the show, we also have to tell you something that you probably did not know, and that is our you'll find that out in a section called "Did You Know." So, yep, I mean we talk about Shakib Al Hassan and his impact. So, did you know that Shakib Al Hassan was the first Bangladesh bowler to bag a 5 wicket haul in the World Cup? And he actually achieved it against Afghanistan in the 2019 World Cup. So, something to look forward to. Probably not the kind of a wicket for Shakib Al Hassan to actually go on and pick five, but you never know. I mean, anything can happen in cricket. There are a few other stats that are floating around as well. Yeah, okay. Oh, Shakib is one among the three players to score 1,000 plus runs and pick 30 plus wickets in the ODI World Cup. Other two would be Jayasuriya and Jack Callis. Jayasuriya I would have guessed, but probably not Callis, even though he is one of the greatest all rounders of all time. With that, we are nearing the end of the show. I just will skim through the comment section and see if you have any questions. Not a lot of people joined us an early morning start. I can understand that. Plus, but those of you who did, please do like the stream. It really helps us reach getting this preview reaching to a wider audience, and we're trying to do as good a job as everyone out there, if not better, in terms of actually bringing the salient points and talking about the game at hand and not the game that is going to be played 2 days later or maybe a week later. So, uh, uh, Jaideep Gajera has been very active.
Yes,
Akash,
shooting for stars early morning.
I mean, we are a sky full of stars here.
Yeah. Correct. And
So,
just for others to update while you skim through comments, Asian Games, 5 over games happened. Bangladesh beat Pakistan by 6 wickets. So
Pakistan
it's
beat
just
Bangladesh, or did they lose to Bangladesh? Because the comment section is saying something else. I need to
so
confirm.
Bangladesh win.
Oh, Bangladesh win. Okay. Yeah, actually, Nikhil, तूने बोलने में थोड़ा गड़बड़ किया, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Now I nine
Bangladesh
down.
won.
Oh,
Bangladesh
amazing,
won.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think 5 over game. That means that India versus Afghanistan gold medal game will gonna start on time at 11:30.
Hopefully.
We'll be here doing the
Yeah.
watch along for the entire game. Hopefully, we get all 20 overs. Uh,
Yes.
Early this morning, India already crossed the 100 medal mark, which was
Yes.
pretty good. Although it was not good to have those "is bar so par" headline and all and
Ah.
patakas on the screen while the players were celebrating, because at the end of the day, it's all about play. It's more about players than about any tagline. But having said that, a good day for India. I mean, they can
Yep.
win a few more gold medals and cement their fourth spot in the medals tally.
Middle
With
Sally.
that, Nikhil, Gurkirat, thank you so much for joining, especially Gurkirat. I mean, you have been
Mm.
hustling around, as we can see. Oh, Jay Momoya joining us. Was working from office, so couldn't join. Jay, you also have working weekends, so tough on you. But yeah, I mean, हम sympathize कर सकते हैं तुम्हारे साथ. So guys, you just have to switch the stream an hour later, where Nikhil and
Yes.
I will be in the watch along. Gurkirat is probably in a flight, but we'll have our very
Yeah.
own Akshay and Avnish joining us from, I think they've reached Chennai by now. So
Okay.
we'll hear more from them. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and please spread the word. With that, I'll end this show. But I mean, it's just a break, not really an end, because we are going to see
Yeah.
you in about 55 minutes from now.
It's going to be a long day for all of us. Cheers.
Absolutely. And we are looking forward to it.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.